Auditing in a CIS environment or IT audit. So CIS stands for Class, today we will discuss auditing in a CIS environment or IT audit. So CIS stands for Computer Information System. So class, as you notice, iba yung setup natin today. Meron tayong projector because later magde-demo ako sa inyo ng accounting software na commonly used in the Philippines. Okay? Para mas ma-appreciate nyo and mas ma-visualize nyo yung pag-aaralan natin today. Okay? Now, IT audit is a very broad and technical field. In fact, yung IT audit class, merong separate division or department yan sa mga audit firms. Okay? And IT audit or IT auditors, actually, very promising profession yan. Bukod sa in-demand yan, high-paying din yung IT audit. Alright? So, if meron kang computer skills and audit skills, I encourage you to consider mo yung IT audit as your profession. Okay? Now, as for our discussion, mag-focus tayo class dun sa commonly asked questions in the board exam. Kasi again, if you IT audit yan, very broad, and if you remember sa college, isang buong SEM di-discuss yan. Alright? So I encourage you to read yung lecture notes natin sa handouts. Marami ko nilagay ng mga technical terms dun. Kasi usually ganun yung lumalabas na questions in the board exam. Alright? Okay, now, we're in the digital age, and due to rapid growth in technology, well, basically yung technology naapektuhan yan yung everyday lives natin. For example, yung communication now is very efficient. Lahat yan sa mobile phones natin, sa mga mobile apps. Kung may meeting ka, instead na mag-meet kayo in person, pwede kang mag-meet through Zoom. Okay? O kaya naman, pag may gusto kang tawagan, pwedeng Facebook Messenger, pwedeng Telegram, pwedeng Viber. So, ang daming mobile apps na pwedeng gamitin. Right? And for example, gusto mo mag-shopping. So, instead na pumunta ka pa ng mall, pwedeng through Shopee or Lazada, doon ka lang mag-order. Tama? What else? Gusto mo magpa-deliver ng food. Pwedeng Food Panda, pwedeng Grab. Okay? Yung class, yung mga businesses, affected din yan, yung mga operations ng businesses. For example, tayo may business, and yung customer natin magbabayad. Okay? Yung payment, pwedeng hindi ka napuntahan ng customer, pwedeng mag-GCash na lang siya, or mag-online banking na lang. Tama? And usually, mga businesses ngayong class, nag-a-advertise sila sa mga social media. For example, Facebook, Instagram. So yung mga ads dyan, actually, yung reach nyan, I think, mas wide pa yung reach yan compared sa traditional advertisements. Alright? And kung operations ng business affected, expect mo rin na yung accounting and recording for those businesses are also affected. So yung traditional class, meron tayong mga journals, meron tayong ledgers. So ngayon, wag mo na i-expect na ganun pa rin. Okay? So most likely, na-minimize na yung ganun. Because today, ang ginagamit natin yung mga accounting system and accounting software. So yung mga large companies class, actually gumagamit sila, I don't know if you're familiar, pero ang ginagamit lang yung SAP or ERP. Are you familiar? Ayun yung ginagamit nila. Now, for small and medium-sized businesses, ito naman yung ginagamit nila. Okay? QuickBooks. Right? So, actually, free trial lang to. Kaya makikita nyo class na naka-dollar sign pa yung mga yan. Right? So, pwede kang Google mo lang. No? QuickBooks, free trial or free demo, and then, yan, mga-access mo yan. Okay? So, yan. Now, ang gagawin natin class, demo ko sa inyo to, papakita ko sa inyo yung mga major features nito para lang ma-visualize nyo. Okay? Kasi pagdating mo sa audit practice, ito yung may encounter mo or similar to this. No? Yan yung mga i-audit mo. Okay? Pag nag-field work ka na. Anyway, susulat ko din dito class yung mga major sections na titingnan natin because later tatanggalin ko yung projector kasi kailangan ko magsulat sa whiteboard. Okay? So sige, let's start. Now, again, this is just a free trial. Pwede mo siyang i-access anytime. And ito yung mga major sections siya nasa left side. Now, una dyan class is the dashboard. Sulat natin, meron tayong dashboard. Sa dashboard natin class, basically, it shows you yung overview of the financial results or financial performance of the business. So you notice here, merong profit and loss dyan. Okay, so yun yung income daw for 30 days, income, expenses. Pwede kang pumili dito. Pwede yung last 30 days, for the month, quarter, for the year, and so on. Now, here, makikita mo din class yung expenses, yung breakdown ng expenses, and actually, pwede mo i-click yan. Pag click mo yan, you will see details. Okay? So, for example, ito yung transaction dates, type, number payee, category, and so on and so forth. Alright? Now, balik tayo dun sa overview. Ito class yung mga bank accounts. So, as you notice here, makikita mo yung checking account, savings account, as well as yung mga credit card transactions, MasterCard, Visa. Alright? And ayan, pag clinic mo yan, well, makikita mo rin yung details. Okay? Invoices, you have here yung mga unpaid invoice. So, ito yung mga account, mga payables natin. Overdue, not yet due. Ito yung mga not deposited and deposited. This also shows your sales. Ayan. So, per day, pinapakita niyan. Alright? And then, pwede kang pumili. Last 30 days, 7 days this month, quarter, 12 months, and so on and so forth. So, basically, class, makikita mo sa overview para at least isang tingin mo lang. Makikita mo na agad kung ano yung performance ng business. Right? So, yun yung purpose ng dashboard natin. Okay, so let's go to banking. So, ano naman nasa banking? Tingnan natin. Explore natin yan. Sa banking naman, class, basically, ayan, makikita mo yung mga bank accounts mo. Checking account, savings account, you have the MasterCard, yung mga credit card transactions. And ito yung mga details. Ayan. Ito yung mga date of payments, description, category, received, and spent, and so on. Alright? So, ayan siya. Now, I think pwede ka rin mag-transfer dyan. For example, yung checking account mo, gusto mo mag-transfer sa savings account, mag-transfer sa checking, or kung gusto mo magbayad ng mga credit card bills mo, pwede rin dito. Okay? Sige. Okay, let's go to sales. Tingnan natin class, ano yung content ng sales na yan. For the sales, tingnan natin. For sales, we have, ito, basically yung, well, details ng composition ng sales natin. So, date, type, number, customer, okay, due date, balance. Actually, pwede ka mag-receive payment. So, lagyan natin dito, receive payment na sales. Receive payment. And then, what else? Ano pa nandyan? So, ito yung invoices, payment links, customers, product service. Pwede tayo maglagay natin new transaction, mag-record tayo, for example. Okay, invoice. Example, nagbenta tayo kay customer. Ayan yung lalabas sa'yo. Okay, so lagay mo yung customer name, or actually, pwede yata mag-select dito. Ayan. So, pipili ka ng mga kung sino yung customers yan, or pwede ka mag-add new. Okay, customer email, address, terms, okay, kung ilang days, invoice date, okay, due date, and then, ayan. So basically, pag nag-sinave natin yung transaction na yan, class, so lagay natin yung description, quantity, amount. Pag sinave natin yan, ang mangyayari dyan, class, automatically, ma-update yung dashboard natin. Okay, real time. So again, sales yun, tama? So ibig sabihin, tataas to. Yung sales natin, tataas din yung profit and loss natin. So ganun siya. Ganun siya ka-powerful. Alright, so ganun yung sales. Let's go to the next item natin, class. Meron din cash flow, doon tayo sa expenses. Okay, sa expenses natin, basically, ngayon dito, expenses. Sa expenses, it will show you yung, well, basically details na expenses natin. Ayan. So, meron tayong date, type, pay, category, and so on. Ayan. And, pwede rin tayo mag-new transaction. Pwede rin tayo mag-record ng expense. Okay. Parang kanina, nag-record tayo ng sales. Pwede rin tayo mag-record ng expense. So, lagay ko dito, record transaction. Okay. So, obviously, pag nag-record ka sa expense na yan, nare-record ka ng transaction, again, ma-update to. So, tataas yung expenses mo, bababa yung P&L mo. Kasi expense yun eh. Right? Ayan. And what else? Actually, meron din tayong payroll dito, class, no? So, sa payroll naman, kung mapapansin mo dito, class, you can also add an employee. Ayun, no? Add employee. So, pag nag-add employee ka, lalagay mo yung details of the employee. Actually, pwede ka rin yata maglagay ng yung mga PhilHealth number, SSS number, tapos automatically, siya na magko-compute ng deductions mo. Okay, as well as yung, I think siya na rin magko-compute ng mga withholding taxes. Alright? So, ayan. Pag nag-add employee ka. So, ayan. So, currently, ito yung mga employees dyan. Okay. So, ayan. Employees. Mamaya na yung reports. Doon mo tayo sa taxes. Ayan. So, pag sinet up mo to, basically, class, tutulungan ka niyan kung paano mag-compute ng for example, mga business taxes, okay? Withholding taxes, income tax. Siya na rin bahala. Okay? So, ganun ka-powerful yan. Ano pa? Dito naman sa accounting, ayan, pwede ka mag-set up ng chart of accounts mo. Alright? So, ano yung mga titles, account titles na gagamitin for the transactions, dito ka mag-set up dyan sa accounting. Okay? So, lagyan natin dito, accounting. And what else? We have yung My Accountant naman class. Yung my accountant, nakalagay dyan, your accountant and members of their firm will have admin access to your company data. So pag nilagay mo dito yung email address nung gusto mo i-invite na accountant, ma-access nila yung program natin, yung QuickBooks natin. Okay, ganun ibig sabihin yan. Okay, and then yung apps nito class, yung last portion, I think ito yung mga add-ons na pwede mong ilagay. Okay, so ayan. Premium apps yan, syempre obviously bibili mo yan. Pero pwede mo siyang i-add as yan, mga additional features pa para dito sa QuickBooks natin. Alright? And now, kasi ito yung favorite part ko dyan, yung reports. Okay, pakita ko sa inyo. Yung reports na yung class, very useful yan, especially for management. Bakit, sir? Tingnan natin, ha? Ano yung mga pwede natin ilagay na reports? Balance sheet, comparison, detail, summary, snapshot, profit and loss as percentage of income, comparison, detail, year to date, by customer, by month, okay, quarterly, may cash flows ka pa. Sobrang dami pwedeng i-generate na reports dito. Ito pa, aging schedule sa AR, collections report, customer balance detail, customer balance summary, invoices, okay, unbilled charges, ano pa? Customer contact list, okay, deposit detail, by customer, okay, inventory valuation, payment methods, product list, sale by customer type, sale by product. So kasi as you notice, sobrang dami reports na pwedeng gamitin. No? Kasi lahat ng data natin, ini-input natin sa program na to. Okay? So siya na bahala mag-generate ng reports automatically. Pipili ka lang kung anong report yung gusto mo. Okay? And usually, pag nag-generate ng report yan, through Microsoft Excel. Okay? Yun yung file yan. Ayan. So sobrang dami class. Okay, bill payment, unpaid bills, expenses, and vendor, sales tax, employees. Ayan, sobrang daming very useful information na pwedeng gamitin ng management. Okay? Ayan, pwede ka rin mag-custom reports. Ibig sabihin, pwede kang, kunyari, piliin mo kung anong date, no, kung anong specific information yung gusto mo makita sa report, pwede dito yun sa custom reports. Sa management reports naman class, ayan, basically ito yung high-level reports naman. Overview sales performance, expense performance, and so on. So for me, ito yata yung pinaka-useful na portion dito yung reports. No? Kasi again, mag-i-aid yan sa decision making of the management. Alright. Sige. So, ayan. So, ganun lang siya kadali i-navigate class. No? Kahit beginner ka dito, ilang beses mo lang siya i-browse, ma-master mo na yan. And again, kaya ako pinakita because para at least may idea ka na ganito yung may encounter mo pag nasa audit practice ka na, pag nag-field work ka na. Alright? But syempre, possible pa rin na may mga journals, may mga ledgers, may mga printed documents, no? Pero most likely may mga accounting softwares. For example, yung QuickBooks na to class, very affordable naman yung subscription niya. I think may monthly or annual subscription yata sila. Okay? Now, later, so tatanggalin ko muna yung projector but basically mag-focus tayo dun sa effect ng audit, sa audit natin, and also ano yung CIS environment or internal control environment. Okay, sige class. Class, let's continue our discussion. So if you can see, tinanggal ko muna yung projector natin pero ni-retain ko yung sinulat ko earlier. Okay, so basically, these are the major sections of the QuickBooks. So magre-refer tayo dito from time to time. Right? Now, let's talk about the characteristics of a CIS environment. And then, i-compare natin to sa manual system. Right? So, tingnan natin. First characteristic of a CIS environment is the lack of visible audit trail. Okay. So, it means, virtually, in a CIS environment, paperless na tayo. If you recall, kanina, nag-enter tayo ng sales transaction, nag-enter tayo ng expense transaction, well, hindi mo kailangan ng any physical document. So lahat yun, ni-record natin using yung QuickBooks. Alright? Now, if you compare that to the manual system, naalala nyo ba class yung discussion natin about flow charting? Yung sa internal controls, sa revenue cycle, start yun sa customer order, sa sales department, and then pupunta ng credit department, and then meron kang billing, meron kang shipping, meron kang general ledger, and so on and so forth. So makikita mo, class, yung physical flow of the documents for each department. Ngayon, applicable sa manual system yun, pero sa CIS, hindi na applicable yun because virtually it's paperless. Gets? Okay. Let's go to the second characteristic, which is consistency of performance. Consistency of performance meaning the CIS functions exactly as programmed. Okay, so let's say kanina, pag nag-record tayo ng sales, pag tumingin ka dun sa dashboard, makikita mo mag-update yung profit and loss doon. Malalagan yung sales. Pag nare-record ka ng expenses, ma-update yung profit and loss, syempre bababa, malalagan yung expenses. So, kahit paulit-ulit, walang problema sa QuickBooks natin yan. Okay? Hindi napapagod yan. Ang mapapagod, ako, kasi sa aking input. Okay? Pero sa QuickBooks itself, dun sa CIS natin, walang problema yan. Okay? Consistency of performance. Number 3, concentration of duties. Concentration of duties. Now, ito rin yung segregation of duties. In a manual system, alam natin, different departments yan. Tama? So, meron kang sales department, meron kang credit, meron kang billing, may shipping, and so on and so forth. Now, yung mga duties na yun, well, segregated, properly segregated yun. Now, in a CIS, may mga duties sa manual na possible na combined pagdating sa CIS. Okay? For example, kanina, let's say ako yung management. Well, kaya ko i-access yung sales, kaya ko i-access yung expenses, payroll, taxes, accounting, lahat yan na-access ko. Okay? Pero syempre, in a manual system, imagine, pag nasa sales department ka, bago ka magkaroon ng access kay credit department, literally, pupunta ka kay credit department. Alright? Kasi naka-separate siya. Now, take note, class, na even if may concentration of duties tayo, yung basics ng internal control natin, yung authorization, recording, and custody, whether manual yan or CIS, dapat properly segregated yan. Alright? Properly segregated. Okay, so that's number 3. Let's go to number 4. Ease of access to data and computer programs. Ease of access to data and computer programs, meaning, well, yung kanina, di ba, easily na-access ko yung mga yan. Tama? Walang problema dyan. Pero, syempre, class, in real life, yung pag gumagamit ng QuickBooks, let's say, naka-assign ka sa payroll, syempre, hindi mo ma-access yung iba dyan. Restricted ka. Sa payroll ka, payroll lang yung ma-access mo. Hindi mo pwede access yung sales, banking, expenses, taxes, accounting. Pag nasa taxes ka, hindi mo ma-access yung accounting, payroll, expenses, sales, and so on and so forth. Pero class, yung risk naman doon. For example, ako nasa taxes. Nalaman ko yung password ni sales. Okay? So, nalaman ko yung password niya, kaya ko ma-access yung sales na section doon sa QuickBooks. Okay, yun yung restriction doon. Unlike kapag physical, sa manual system, again, pag sales, pupunta ka ng credit department, literally, pupunta ka doon. Okay? So, unlike dito sa CIS, meron kang ease of access. Okay, next is system-generated transactions. System-generated transactions. I think good example nito, yung nakita natin kanina na different types of reports. Okay? So, kanina, I showed you na sobrang daming possible reports na pwede mo ma-generate sa QuickBooks. Okay? Pwedeng customers, per week, per day, per month, per quarter, pwede mo rin kunin per customer type, per product. So, as management, pwede mo i-analyze yun, yung behavior ni customer. Makakatulong yun sa decision making, sa mga strategies. Now, as you noticed earlier, pipiliin mo lang kung anong reports yung gusto mo, and then kiklik mo lang yung generate, mag-generate na yung system ng reports in the form of Excel. Okay, naka-Microsoft Excel yun. In a manual system, hindi possible yun. Kasi, for example, kailangan nung malaman yung, okay, expenses for the month or for the quarter. Manually, ipe-prepare yun. Unlike sa system, sa CIS, piliin mo lang kung ano gusto mo report, click mo lang, dun magpo-produce na yun ng reports. Okay? System-generated transactions. And then, last characteristic of a CIS is vulnerability of data and program storage. Vulnerability of data and program storage. Okay? So class, kanina, going back here, pag nasa taxes ako, taxes lang yung kaya kong ma-access sa QuickBooks. Ngayon, pag trinay kong i-access yung payroll, may password yan. O kaya naman, mag-error message na hindi ko pwedeng i-access yung payroll. Kaya lang, problema dyan class, what if nalaman ko yung passwords yan? So, kayang-kaya ko siyang ma-access yung mga data na yan. Right? Yun yung vulnerability of data. And program storage, for example class, well, since software yan, no? Since program yan, well, exposed din yan sa mga possible na viruses. Okay? So, kaya make sure natin na merong antivirus yung programs natin. Ano ba yung mga sikat na antivirus? Yung Avast, Kaspersky, ayan, yung mga sikat na antivirus programs. So anyway, in a CIS, mas vulnerable yung data compared sa manual. Kasi sa manual class, imagine, sales department, ito yung credit department. Yung data ni credit department, okay, yung mga documents dito, since physical documents yan, nakahiwala yan. Okay? Pag nasa sales ka, hindi mo basta-basta makukuha yan. Alright? Unlike dito sa example natin yung QuickBooks. Okay? So now class, these 6 are the characteristics of CIS environment. Sir, bakit important yan? Kasi class, meron siyang effects sa audit natin. Okay, lagay natin dito, effect on audit. Kaya natin siya kinumpare dun sa manual system. Okay? But take note, tanda mo to. Sa CIS, same objectives. Ibig sabihin, objective natin as auditors is the same. Okay? To gather an evidence, to provide an opinion. Same responsibilities. As auditors, well, ang responsibility natin is to provide an opinion on the fairness or reliability of the financial statements of our client. Si management naman, yung responsibility niya is the FS, preparation ng FS, presentation, and yung implementation ng internal controls. Tama? So, walang mababago doon. Same objectives, same responsibilities. In fact, same stages. Mag-start tayo sa preliminary engagement activities, meron tayong planning, understanding internal controls, TOC, substantive testing, completing the audit. Same stages pa rin, whether manual or CIS. Dito yan magbabago class. Ang major difference ng CIS and manual is, in CIS, ang focus natin is test of controls rather than substantive testing. Okay? Meron pa rin substantive testing, pero mas konti. Karamihan sa gagawin natin na procedures related to TOC. Bakit, sir? Kasi class ganito yan. Sabi ko kanina, especially yung characteristic number 1, wala tayong audit trail. Alam natin, class, sa substantive testing, may physical inspection tayo. Ni-inspect natin yung documents. Tama? Tinetest natin yung amounts. Well, since wala tayong audit trail, wala tayong physical documents, mahirap mag-perform na substantive testing. Kaya ang focus natin, remember this, sa CIS, ang focus natin is testing of controls. Got it? Okay. Now, tingnan natin class. Since TOC yung magiging focus natin, kailangan ma-understand natin class kung ano yung internal controls of a CIS environment. Ito yung gagawin natin diskarte. Ito muna ako. So, internal controls, okay, in a CIS environment, sabi ko kanina, same stages. Ibig sabihin class, mag-start muna tayo with understanding internal controls, and then next dyan is testing or TOC. Alright? Ano nga ba yung difference ng class? Pag understanding is understanding the design and implementation. Alala nyo yan? Pag testing naman, pag TOC, yung assessment na yan ng operating effectiveness of the controls. Alright? Now class, ito yung difference din kapag CIS. Yung understanding natin, okay, in order to understand the design and implementation, kailangan maintindihan natin class yung general controls and application controls of the client. Ayan, so may mga new terms tayo. Take note, may dalawa tayong klaseng controls sa CIS. Meron tayong general controls and meron tayong application controls. Now, ano yung importance yan? Well, alam natin class, yung understanding of internal controls, diyan natin ma-assess yung control risk of the client. Tama? Sige. So now, start muna tayo with general controls. Sulat ko dito class. Dito na lang ako susulat. So general controls, basically class, ito yung high-level internal controls of our client. Okay? Yan yung overall internal controls. Now, meron tayong 5 items under general controls. Number 1, organizational controls. Ibig sabihin ng organizational controls, merong clear assignment of responsibilities. Okay? Or basically, merong proper segregation of duties. Yun ibig sabihin yan. Okay? Proper segregation of duties. Ganito yung class. Ideally, okay, in a CIS structure, ito yung dapat nakasegregate. Tandaan mo to. Very, very important. Between, okay, there must be a segregation between CIS and user departments. Okay. Sir, ano yung CIS department? Isipin mo, class, yun yung IT department of a company. Pag sinabing CIS, yan yung IT department. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin niya, class, dapat daw nakahiwalay si IT department, nakahiwalay si user departments. Sir, sino si user departments? Ito yun. For example, meron tayong 4 na departments. Sales department, payroll department, tax department, accounting department. For example, may 4 tayo, ha, to simplify. So, sabi dyan, dapat si IT department nakahiwalay dito sa 4. Sales, payroll, tax, accounting. Got it? Yun yung ibig sabihin yan. Kasi si IT department, siya bahala mag-process ng mga transactions every day. Well, sa ating kasi class, yung example natin, QuickBooks. Tama? QuickBooks, basically, subscription yan. Tama? Pero let's say, yung IT department natin, yung nag-develop ng QuickBooks, may sariling, yung company natin, yung client natin, may sarili siyang program. Ganun yung assumption natin, kaya may sariling IT department. Okay? So basically, si IT department, siya yung nagpa-process, siya yung nagme-maintain ng program natin, and si user department, well, siya yung gumagamit. Okay? Kaya user department. Ayan, yung unang segregation. Very important yan. Now, class, ito naman yung isa pa. Within the CIS department. Alright? Within the CIS department, may mga employees tayo doon, may segregation of duties din yun. Now, ideally, the CIS department is headed by CIS director. Okay? So, class, again, ito yung ideal, ha? Ideal to. So, hindi ito applicable dun sa mga small or mga medium-sized businesses. So, mga large companies, ito yung ideal structure. Okay? Ngayon, sa CIS within, okay, sa loob ng IT department, ito, class, yung dapat ihiwalay mo. Program development. Sulat ko muna, ha? Program development. Program operations. And program maintenance. Okay? Ayan. Program development, basically, ito yung coding, yung nag-code or nag-write ng program natin. Program operations and program maintenance. Iyan yung 3 duties na dapat properly segregated within si CIS department. So again, ulitin ko, yung CIS IT department, hiwalay sa users. And then yung CIS na yan, sa loob niyan, may hihiwalay pa tayong duties. Development, operations, and maintenance. Okay? That's number 1. Ang tawag natin dyan, organizational controls. Number 2, systems, development, and documentation controls. Sir, what do you mean by that? So, ibig sabihin nito, class, lahat ng major changes sa programs natin, dapat authorized siya or approved siya by authorized official, by the management. For example, class, kanina, if you remember, no, dun sa expenses natin, pwede ka mag-add supplier dyan. Tama? Pwede ka mag-add supplier. Now, hindi basta-basta kahit sino pwede mag-add supplier. Dapat approve siya by authorized official. Okay? What else? For example, class, di ba, meron tayong, ito yung may major sections natin. Kung gusto natin magpa-add pa ng isa, okay, additional section, for example lang, dapat may major change yun sa system natin. Tama? Dapat approve siya by the top management. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng systems development. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng changes sa development, properly documented and properly approved by the authorized official. Okay? That's number 2. Number 3, access controls. Let's go back dun sa example natin kanina. Pag nasa tax department ka, hindi mo pwedeng ma-access yung iba dyan. Okay? May access control. Ibig sabihin, restricted. Pag trinay mong i-access si accounting, may password yan. O kaya may error message na hindi mo pwedeng i-access yon. Ang tawag natin doon, access control. So again, class, ang pinag-uusapan natin, general controls, ha? Ibig sabihin, ito yung understanding tayo, di ba? Understanding internal controls. Titignan natin yung design and implementation of the controls. That's number 3, access controls. Let's go to number 4. 5 lang naman to. Data recovery controls. Okay, titignan natin, class, kung may backup ba si management? Okay? For example, na-corrupt yung files natin. Or for example, nagkaroon ng virus yung software natin, yung QuickBooks. Okay? Nagkaroon ng server issue. Tama? Baka mawala yung mga data natin dyan. So, ang tawag na dyan, data recovery controls. Ano yung backup ni management? Meron ba siyang cloud storage? Meron ba siyang hard drive? Okay? Tuwing kailan bina-backup yan? Or baka may USB siya? Siyempre, depende kung gaano kalaki yung company. So, ang tawag natin dyan, class, data recovery controls. Alright, and in line with that, nandiyan na rin yung kailangan mo ng antivirus. Tama? Ano ba yung mga sikat na antivirus ngayon? Yung Avast, yung Kaspersky, mga ganyan. Anyway, we call it data recovery controls. Number 5, last one is monitoring of controls. So basically, si management bahala dito. I-assess niya yung effectiveness of the internal controls related sa CIS natin or sa QuickBooks natin. And kung may mga rooms for improvement, well, syempre, yun yung i-improve pa ni management, okay? For future use. Anyway, so yung 5 na yung class, general controls, ulitin natin, organizational controls, systems development and documentation controls, access controls, data recovery controls, and monitoring of controls. Yun yung high-level controls, okay? Ibig sabihin, pag present yan, titignan natin kung present yan sa organization, sa client natin, therefore, kung okay lahat yan, okay yung control risk sa client, pwede natin ibaba yan. Gets? Okay. Now, yun yung general controls. Now, class, yung data recovery controls na, yung number 4, mahilig itanong sa BOA. Si BOA mahilig dyan. Madalas itanong sa board exam yan. So, expound natin ng konti. So, again, class, in the board exam, ulitin ko, usually pag IT audit, nagtatanong lang ng usually mga terms yan. Okay? Mga terms. Kaya dapat familiar kayo dun sa mga technical terms na ginagamit. So, again, I encourage you to read yung lecture notes natin sa handouts natin kasi maraming nakalagay na terms doon. Hindi naman lahat yun bring up ko today. So kaya gusto ko mag-exert ka ng extra effort for those. Okay, now, yung number 4 natin kanina, yung data recovery controls, i-expound natin siya, class. May tinatawag tayong disaster recovery plans. Okay? So for example, nag-crash yung server natin. Okay? Nagkaroon ng system shutdown. Nagkaroon ng virus yung software natin. Dapat may tinatawag tayong disaster recovery plans. Especially sa mga big companies na hindi pwedeng magkaroon ng any technical problems. For example, si Shopee. Okay? Hindi pwedeng may system shutdown siya for 1 to 2 hours. Kasi sobrang laking effect sa kanya yun. Malaki yung lost sales niya and opportunity cost. Tama? So now, yung mga large companies yan, nagre-resort sila sa disaster recovery plans. We have 3 types. Okay, so sulat nyo to. First type of disaster recovery plan is internally provided backup. Okay? Or this is on-site. Sir, what do you mean by internally provided backup or on-site? So it means, class, meron siyang separate department, okay? Or separate backup site. For example, si Shopee. I think si Shopee based dyan sa Singapore. Tama? Ngayon, again, sobrang daming clients yan, sobrang daming customers. Sobrang laking impact pag may system shutdown yan. Dapat laging online yan si Shopee. Ngayon, meron siyang, pwede may internally provided backup yan. Ibig sabihin, may separate department siya, okay? Just in case magkaroon ng problem, yung website, for example, or yung app ni Shopee, ang bahala doon yung internally provided backup niya. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, right away, pwede mag-resume ng operations si Shopee. Right? So, ang disadvantage nito, class, well, ito yung most expensive na option. Pero ang good thing naman dito, ito yung less risky siya. Kasi syempre, since nasa loob ng company yan, no? Literally separate department yan, controlled yan. May control si Shopee dyan. Okay? Now, yung number 2 nating class is externally provided backup. Ito yung commonly used naman. Okay? Externally provided backup or off-site naman to. Okay? So it means, class, outsourced yung backup services natin. Kasi may mga companies, class, na nag-specialize sa disaster recovery services. Nagpo-provide sila. Marami sa Philippines yan. Okay? Magsasubscribe ka sa kanila. Now, class, beyond ng mga list of providers in the Philippines, ito yung mga largest. I don't know if familiar ka, pero yung Kital Philippines Corporation, merong Sage Solutions, Acronis Philippines, ayan, mga largest backup services providers in the Philippines. Okay, tawag dyan, externally provided backup. Okay, now class, may tatlong types yan. Okay, so enumerate natin. Mga bagong terms to, so take note of this. 3 types of externally provided backup. Number 1 is what we call hot site. Ibang tawag sa hot site is recovery operations center or ROC. Minsan klase, ganyan yung tanong sa boards. Okay? Which of the following is another term for hot site? Siyempre, pag di mo nabasa yan, ang hirap i-guess yan. Diba? So, kaya nilalagay ko rin yung mga other terms na ginagamit. So, again, very important sa IT audit, mga terms. Okay? So, sir, what do you mean by hot site? Ito, class, yung option na most readily available. Okay? For example, si Shopee. Shopee na gawin natin example. Si Shopee, nagkaroon ng, let's say, system shutdown. Pag naka-hot site siya, right away, pwede siyang mag-resume ng operations. Okay? Mabilisan lang. Very short period of time. So, ibig sabihin, class, pag hot site, equip hardware, software, and internet connection. Okay? Kumpleto lahat yan. Ibig sabihin, right away, pwede kang mag-resume ng operations. Okay? So, ang advantage yan, syempre, less risk. Pero, ito naman yung pinaka-costly. No? So, costly naman siya. Ang tawag natin dyan is hot site. Alright? Now, yung next level dyan, class, ang tawag is warm site. Pag warm site naman, not as equipped as hot site. So, lagi ko nandito, not as equipped. So, let's say, class, si Shopee. Okay? Nagkaroon ng system shutdown. Pag naka-hot site siya, sabihin natin, mga in 30 minutes, pwede na siya mag-resume ng operations. Pag sinabi mong warm site, mas matagal. Not as equipped. Okay? Let's say, mga 1 to 2 hours before siya makapag-resume ng operations. Got it? Now, syempre, yung warm site, mas risky yan compared sa hot site. Now, pwede natin siya i-summarize as this one. Yung hot site, mas mataas yung cost, pero mas mababa naman yung risk. Tama lang? Pag warm site, mas mababa yung cost, pero mas mataas naman yung risk. Alright? And then yung third type of externally provided backup, ang tawag natin dyan, class, is cold site. So meron tayong hot site, may warm site, and may cold site. Ang ibang tawag sa cold site, class, is empty shell. Ayan, empty shell. Now, pag sinabing cold site, least readily available. But ang advantage naman niya, ito yung may least cost. Okay? Or least costly. Now, for example, kanina, si Shopee nagkaroon ng system shutdown. In 30 minutes, pwede mag-resume hot site. Example lang yan, ha? Okay. Pag warm site naman, siguro 1 to 2 hours before siya pwede mag-resume ng operations. Pag cold site, let's say 3 to 4 hours. Ganun siya. So, para lang may idea kayo. Now, pag cold site, again, least cost, pero syempre, yun yung pinaka-risky. Kasi ang daming mawawala sa'yo sa time mo, okay, before ka makapag-resume ng operation. Syempre, yung mga companies na yan, titignan nila kung ano yung optimal for them. Kasi may mga companies naman, may business naman na okay lang sa kanila kahit, let's say, 1 to 2 days, mag-offline sila. Unlike yung, for example, yung mga Shopee, ganyan, hindi pwedeng ganun. Matter of minutes, very important for them. Alright? So anyway, yan yung 3 types of externally provided backup. Now, yung last one naman, class, last type of disaster recovery plan, ang tawag natin dito, Mutual Aid Compact or Mutual Aid Pact. Sir, what do you mean by Mutual Aid Compact? Kaya siya tinawag na Mutual Aid, class. It's basically, meron kang arrangement with another company, okay, with similar needs. Okay? For example, si Company A, hahanap siya ng isang company, Company B, na may similar needs sila. Meron sila magiging arrangement or agreement. O sige, Company B, kapag nagka-problem ako sa system ko, okay, gagamitin ko yung system mo. Si Company B naman, sabi niya kay Company A, o Company A, pag nagka-problem ako sa system ko, gagamitin ko yung system mo. Ang tawag doon is Mutual Aid Compact or Mutual Aid Pact. Okay? Obviously, mahirap i-execute yan. So, hardest to execute. Kasi, hahanap ka ng business, okay, ng company, na meron kayong similar needs. So, mahirap yan. And syempre, dapat dependable yung magiging ka-tie-up mo dyan. Alright? But anyway, so ito yung commonly used dyan class, yung externally provided backup. Ulitin ko, disaster recovery plans, meron tayong tatlo. Internally provided or on-site, externally provided or off-site, meron tayong 3 types, hot site, warm site, cold site, and third one is mutually or mutual aid compact. Okay, so siningit ko lang class kasi usually tinatanong sa boards yan para lang may idea ka. Sige, so let's continue our discussion. Na-discuss natin kanina yung general controls. Doon naman tayo class sa application controls. So, erase ko muna. So, when you say application controls, mas specific na yan compared to general. Sa general kasi yun yung overall controls. Okay? Yun yung high-level internal controls. Pag sinabi mong application, specific na tayo dun sa program. Okay? Specific na tayo dun sa QuickBooks sa illustration natin. So, lagay ko dito class, application controls. Okay, so isa-isay natin. Meron tayong 5 na application controls. So again class, nandun pa rin tayo sa understanding. It means yung general controls and application controls, check natin yan. Kung present yan dun sa client natin, makaka-affect yan sa control risk. Tama? Ang control risk, syempre may effect yan sa detection risk, sa nature, time, and extent of our substantive procedures. Now, ulitin ko, pag application controls, specific na tayo sa program. So, ang gagawin natin, ito yung, let's say, ito yung kay client, ito yung QuickBooks niya, check natin yung QuickBooks niya kung merong sufficient internal controls. First internal control is what we call key verification. Key verification. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin nito, class, data is to be entered twice. Okay? So, for example, ako si auditor, tama? I-audit ko yung QuickBooks ni client. Tama? Yung program ni client. Pag nag-login ako dun sa QuickBooks niya, dapat may, let's say, may retype password. Okay? Twice ko i-enter yung credentials ko. So, para ma-ensure na yung authorized employees lang, okay, yung may access doon. Okay? O authorized persons lang yung may access. Alright? Ang tawag natin doon is key verification. Parang pag nag-sign up ka for email, di ba pag nag-sign up ka for email, meron kang confirm password o parang ganun yan. Okay? Or let's say naman class, payment. Di ba? Merong payment dyan eh. Kasi meron ding receive payment. Pwede ka rin magbayad sa banking. Pag mababayad ka, before may proceed yung transaction, dapat may password muna yan. Okay? Ang tawag natin doon, key verification. Gets? Okay. Number 2. Second type of application control is field or validity check. Okay, so ibig sabihin lang nito class, yung accuracy of the characters na i-input sa fields. I'll give you an example. For example, kasi tayo sa sales. Sa sales, pwede tayo maglagay dyan ng new transaction, tama? So may invoice dyan. Okay, so sa invoice, well, basically invoice number yan. Tama? Dapat numeric yan. Ang ilagay natin sa fields. Ngayon, pag ang nilagay mo dyan, letters, alphabet, for example, dapat mag-error message yan. Dapat hindi mag-push through yung transaction. Ang tawag natin doon, field or validity check. Ano pa example? Let's say yung terms, may customer. Dapat yan, number eh. Pwedeng 30 days, 20 days, 10 days. Let's say, ang nilagay ko dyan, words. Nilagay ko customer name. Dapat mag-error message yan. Okay? Kasi hindi tama yung character na nilagay ko. Tama? Let's say, date, due date. Siyempre, dapat yung format niyan, date. Okay? Ngayon, let's say, nilagay ko dyan, July 35. Wala namang ganun, eh. Basta hanggang July 31. Dapat mag-error to. Ang tawag natin doon, field or validity check. Gets? Okay. Number 3, check digit. Okay? Plus yung check digit, ganito yan. Usually, nilalagay yan sa end ng isang code or reference number. Bigyan na example. For example, class, I think dito sa expenses yon sa QuickBooks natin, pwede ka mag-add supplier dyan eh. Tama? So, add supplier, and then, yung supplier natin, mag-a-assign tayo ng code. Okay? Tama? Supplier code. Let's say yung supplier code na nilagay natin is 7530261. Ayan, yun yung supplier code natin. Pag sinabing check digit, may isang digit pa tayo na ilalagay sa dulo. May isa pa. Paano yan, sir? Ganito usually ginagawa dyan. Add natin yan. 7 plus 5, 12, plus 3, 15, plus 2, 17, plus 6, 23, plus 1, 24. Tama? So, in-add ko lahat, 24. Next step ko dito, add ko yan, 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. Maglalagay ako ng 6 dito. Yun yung check digit. Ito siya. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, syempre si management lang nakakaalam yan. Okay? Internal control yan. So, it means, lahat ng code, pag hindi tama yung code ng supplier mo, ibig sabihin, unauthorized supplier yun. Nakuha mo yan? So, ulitin ko. Ito yung code ni supplier. Initially, maglalagay ka ng check digit sa dulo. In-add natin, 24 yung sum niyan. 2 plus 4, 6. 6 yung check digit natin. Gets? So, bibigyan ako ng example para at least mas ma-visualize nyo. Number 4, hash total. Tapos pag sinabing hash total, ganito yan. Adding numbers without meaning. Okay? Adding numbers without meaning. Sir, an example nun, without meaning. Let's say, class, meron tayong tatlong customers. Customer A, customer B, and customer C. Okay? Yan, may balance yan. For example, si customer A, may balance siya na 5,000. Si customer B, may balance siya 3,000. Si customer C, may balance na 2,000. Okay, yung balances nila. Ngayon, class, meron tayong code per customer. Okay, para easily ma-identify natin sila. Let's say yung code ni customer A is number 101. Si B naman, number 102. Si C, number 103. Okay, so ito yung balance. Ito yung code. Tama? Class, pag in-add natin yung balance, tama ba 10,000 yan? Ito, may sense yan. Kasi yung 10,000 natin, accounts receivable yan. Tama? Accounts receivable. Now, yung code ni customer, pag in-add natin yan, ilan yan? 306. Class, may sense ba yan? Walang sense yan kasi code yan eh. Walang sense na i-add natin lahat yan. Okay? Pero pwedeng form of internal control yan. Got it? Ang tawag natin dyan is hash total. Ina-add natin yung mga walang sense or walang meaning ng mga numbers. Okay? In this case, in-add natin yung code, ayun, 306. Another example, i-add mo yung mga reference numbers. Okay? Example ng hash total yan. Alright? So again, internal control siya, pero pag in-add mo yung mga yan, wala talagang sense. For control purposes lang yan. Gets? Okay. And then last one, class, ng application control natin, pag chinek natin yung QuickBooks o yung program ni client, dapat present din yung tinatawag natin na limit check. Okay? Madali lang yung limit check. Ganito lang yung class. For example, dun sa QuickBooks, may banking dyan. Naalala nyo ba, meron dyan checking account, savings account, nandyan din yung mga credit card details. Naalala nyo yan? Okay, now, when you say limit check, for example, yung customer natin, ang policy niya, sige, ang transfer lang natin per day, 50,000 ang maximum. Okay? Ibig sabihin, pag nag-transfer ka from checking to savings or savings to checking account, ang limit mo is 50,000 per day. So ako as auditor, titingnan ko yung QuickBooks. Okay, policy niya is 50,000. Titingnan ko yung implementation. Okay? Pag nag-input ako ng 60,000, dapat hindi mag-proceed yung transaction na yan. Tama, dapat may error message doon. Okay? May notification na, uy, sumobra yan sa limit. Okay? Ang tawag natin doon, limit check. Got it? So, ulitin ko, class. Kaya natin pinag-aaralan yung application controls. Ibig sabihin, yun yung controls na specific doon sa program. Sa example natin, yung QuickBooks, pag present lahat yan, masasabi natin na okay yung internal controls of the client. Ibig sabihin, pwede natin i-assess yung control risk at a low level. Gets? Okay, now, actually, last part na to. No? Last part na natin, okay na tayo sa general controls, okay na tayo sa application controls, diyan natin na-understand yung design and implementation of internal controls, doon tayo sa TOC. So again, in a CIS environment, very important, paulit-ulit ako. Ang focus ni auditor dito is more on internal controls rather than substantive testing. That's why yung magiging last part of our discussion is about TOC. Okay, so last na to, class, and then handouts na lang, okay na tayo sa IT audit. So yeah, now let's go to test of controls, TOC. Meron tayong 3 approaches pagdating sa TOC. Okay? Number 1 is auditing around the computer. Auditing around the computer. So, underline ko, around the computer. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Ibig sabihin niyang, class, yung input i-reconcile natin with the output. Okay? So, ganito yung class. Di ba pag TOC, tinetest na natin yung operating effectiveness. So, titingnan natin. O, sige, ba? Ito yung QuickBooks ni client. Kailangan ko malaman if effective siya or hindi. Kasi kanina, design and implementation lang to eh. Tingnan natin kung effective to. Paano yun? Well, pwede natin gamitin auditing around the computer. Yung input, i-reconcile natin sa output. For example, sige, maglagay tayo ng sale transaction. Okay? Sale transaction, pag nag-add transaction tayo, lagyan natin yung name ni customer, yung description, ilang quantity, yung price, yun yung input natin, tama? Ngayon, yung output natin, basically yung reports, pwedeng output yan. Dapat, pag pinasok natin yung input na yan, dun sa QuickBooks, dapat consistent siya dun sa output, tama? Kung yung kay customer is 10,000, dapat yung output niya sa sales or sa P&L, dapat 10,000 din. Okay? So it means, if consistent, if nagmamatch or reconciled si input and output, ibig sabihin class, yung controls, internal controls ng QuickBooks natin or yung process ng QuickBooks natin, reliable siya. Okay? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng input is reconciled with output or auditing around the computer. Alright? Actually, ibang term dito class is black box approach. Sir, bakit tinawag siya na black box approach? Kasi class, well, wala tayong idea kung paano ginagawa ni QuickBooks. Basta alam lang natin, ito si input, ito si output, reconciled sila, okay yung controls ni QuickBooks. Okay? So it means, kung okay yung controls ni QuickBooks, tama ba class, may mga reports na generate yan eh. Yun yung present as financial statements. So if okay yung internal controls nito, ibig sabihin, okay din yung financial statements. Yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Got it? Kaya black box. Alright? Now, ang weakness ng black box approach or auditing around the computer is, what if wala kang detailed output? Okay? Wala kang, hindi mo ma-match yung input and output. Well, hindi mo magagamit yan. Okay? Yan yung disadvantage ng first TOC approach natin. Second one is, ginagamit dito in practice, auditing with the computer. Okay? Auditing with the computer. So, kanina around, ngayon with naman. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? Ito class, meron ka naman mga software, okay? Audit softwares na naka-install sa laptop mo. Okay, so ganito yan. Di ba ito si client? Tama. Meron akong sarili kong laptop as auditor. Okay? For example, SGB ako. Sa SGB. Now, meron akong naka-install na audit software sa laptop ko. Usually, ano po provide niyang class yung sa SGB, sa Ernst & Young. Okay? Sa Ernst & Young, meron siyang mga audit softwares i-install sa laptop and then mag-i-input tayo ng transactions. Ito yung bahala mag-audit. Got it? Ngayon, okay sana yan. Kaya lang ang disadvantage nito class, syempre, iba-iba yung clients natin. Iba-iba nature ng business yan. Iba-iba yung processes yan and operations. So, possible na hindi ito applicable sa ibang clients. Got it? Pero ginagamit din in practice yan. Ang tawag natin is auditing with the computer. It means meron kang naka-install na software sa laptop mo, dun ka nagpe-perform ng audit. Gets? Okay, now, yung third one, ito yung commonly used. Okay? Commonly used in practice. Ang tawag natin dito, class, auditing through the computer. Auditing through the computer. Ayan, so meron kang around, meron kang with, meron kang through. Ibang tawag dito, class, is computer assisted. Naalala nyo siguro ito ng undergrad. Audit techniques or CAATs. Okay? CAATs. You also call this white box approach. So, kung meron kang black box kanina, meron kang white box approach. Ulitin ko. The third one is commonly used in practice, auditing through the computer using CAATs or the computer-assisted audit techniques. You also call this white box approach. Sir, ano difference yan? So basically, class, ang ino-audit natin mismo yung software or yung computer program ni client. Okay? So ganito gagawin natin dyan. Actually, may three types. Actually, marami yan, pero mag-focus tayo sa three. First type of CAAT is what we call test data. Okay? Susulat niyo muna to. Under test data, ganito yung class mangyayari dyan. Auditor Okay, gets a copy of the program. Okay, sulat nyo muna. Next is auditor installs the program. Okay, and then third step is auditor inputs erroneous or fictitious transaction. Fictitious transaction. Okay, pasahin ulit natin. First type of CAAT is test data. Auditor gets a copy of the program, auditor installs the program, auditor inputs erroneous or fictitious transaction. Ganito yung class. Ito si client, tama. Sa kanya yan. May iba akong laptop. Okay? Sa SGB. Okay? SGB laptop. Ang gagawin ko, hihingi ako kay client na installer. Client, pwede bang pahingi ako ng installer ng QuickBooks na ginagamit mo? Okay, so install ko sa akin yan. Alright? So install ko sa akin, and then mag-i-input ako ng erroneous transaction or fictitious transaction. Since erroneous siya, dapat hindi mag-proceed yung transaction na yun. Tama? So pag hindi nag-proceed, it means reliable yung software ni client, reliable si QuickBooks. Yun ibig sabihin ng test data. Got it? Now, ang isang disadvantage class ng test data, ito yung major disadvantage niya. Hindi tayo sure kung all year round, ito yung software na ginamit ni client. For example, today is December 31, humingi ako ng software kay client. Ay, okay, reliable. Pero pwede pala na, let's say, nung first half of the year, January 1 to June 30, baka ibang software yung ginamit niya. Okay? Yun yung biggest disadvantage of test data. Pero madalas ginagamit in practice yan. Test data. Second one is integrated test facility or ITF. Okay? Sir, ano naman difference yan? Ganito class yan. Pag ITF, auditor uses the actual system or the program used by the client. Okay? So, demonstrate ko sa inyo. Ito yung laptop ko, tama? Ito yung kay client. Instead na yung laptop ko gamitin ko, hindi na. Iti-test ko mismo yung kay client. Okay? Yung program niya mismo. Okay? So, ayan. Ang gagawin ko diyang class, mag-i-input ako ng actual transaction sa system niya. Okay? And then dapat, kung erroneous yung nilagay ko, dapat hindi mag-proceed yung transaction na yun. Okay? So, ulitin ko, pag sinabi mong integrated test facility, yung mismong QuickBooks ni client, doon ako maglalagay ng erroneous transaction. Dapat hindi mag-proceed yun. Alright? Pag hindi nag-proceed, ibig sabihin, okay yung internal controls ni client. Now, ang risk niyan class is risk of contamination. Kasi take note na under integrated test facility, yung mismong data ni client yung ginagamit ko. Tama? Naka-record lahat dyan kay client. Ngayon, since mag-e-enter ako ng erroneous or fictitious transactions, baka maapektuhan yung database ni client. Okay? So again, yun yung risk of contamination. Tama? So dapat syempre, dapat careful talaga si auditor pag piniperform niyan. That's the second one. Huli na. Ito yung last one. Last type of CAAT is what we call parallel simulation. Sir, ano yung parallel simulation? Sulat mo to. Auditor codes or writes the program. Ito yung pinakamahirap i-execute and hindi siya masyadong ginagamit in practice, no? Kasi impractical yan. Kasi ibig sabihin ng parallel simulation class ganito. O sige, nakita ko yung QuickBooks ni client, diba? Ganito pala yung mga features yan. May mga ganito pala yan. Dashboard, banking, sales, expenses. Ngayon, magde-develop kami ng sarili namin. Okay? So, syempre, yung IT auditors na bahala dyan. No? Pero kasi syempre tayo, pag di tayo IT auditor, di mo natin inaaral ng college yung programming na yan. Pero ibig sabihin ng parallel simulation, okay, tingnan natin yung key characteristics, features, and yung functionalities ng program, i-code natin, gagayahin natin. Again, very impractical, no? Kasi syempre, very time-consuming yun. Ang tawag natin doon class is parallel simulation. Now, sir, bakit tinawag na parallel simulation? Ganito mangyayari dyan class. So, yung data ni client's data, okay? Client's data, dalawa. Client's data, okay? So, same yan, tama? Ngayon, yung client's data, ipapaprocess natin yan sa client's program. Okay? Yung QuickBooks na ginagamit niya. Same data, ipapaprocess natin yan sa auditor's program. Yung ginawa ni auditor na software. Okay? Papaprocess natin. Now, ito yung actual results. Tama? Actual results. Dito naman sa auditor, ito yung simulated results. Okay, so i-compare natin yan. Yung actual results, compare natin sa simulated results, dapat consistent yung dalawa na yan. Pag consistent yan, ibig sabihin, reliable yung system ni client or yung program ni client or the internal controls of the client. Got it? So, ulitin ko. Pag parallel simulation, magpo-program tayo ng sarili natin and then papaprocess natin same data. Ito, paprocess natin sa QuickBooks ni client. Ito yung ginawa natin na program. Actual results, simulated results, i-compare natin, dapat mag-reconcile or mag-match yung dalawang results na yan. Got it? Ang tawag natin, kaya tinawag na parallel. Parallel sa, yan. Okay? Parallel simulation. Okay, so, I think that's it. Ito yung tatlong approaches natin for TOC. Okay? So, yeah. So, yun muna. And then later on, we'll answer our handouts.